Have you ever stopped to think about why some people seem to have everything, respect, opportunities, influence, while others, even competent ones, live in invisibility? It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's knowledge. Knowledge that most will never have access to because they are too busy playing by the wrong rules. While you were taught to be nice, available, honest to the point of naivete, there is a select group of people who understood the real game and are winning silently. Machiavelli didn't write his works to entertain. He revealed politics guided by reality, not by ideals. And reality, it's brutal, it's raw, it's completely different from the fairy tale they sold you. The truth is that power doesn't belong to the most just, the hardest working, the most ethical in the naive sense of the word. Power belongs to those who understand the invisible laws that govern all human interactions. These laws have existed for millennia, applied by emperors, military strategists, business leaders, and brilliant minds who built empires while others merely survived. And today, you'll have access to 7 of these tactics that separate those who command from those who obey, those who conquer from those who beg, those who lead from those who follow. Ready to discover what they never wanted you to know? If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos, it's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul, an invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now. Not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder you are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. You know that person who replies to your messages in 2 seconds, who's always available, always ready for anything, always there. Well, that person probably isn't as valued as they think. And look, that's not cruelty. It's simply human nature in action. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, shows us that people value what is difficult to obtain. Think about it. Do you value a diamond more than a stone you find on the sidewalk? Obviously, right? The diamond because it's rare, scarce, hard to find. The same principle applies to your presence. When you're always available, always accessible, always there waiting, you become like that stone on the sidewalk, common, predictable, disposable. Constant adaptability requires you to understand this game and play it better than others. It's not about being arrogant or thinking too highly of yourself, but about recognizing that perceived value is directly linked to scarcity. It's one of those truths that nobody likes to admit, but that everyone feels firsthand. Now, let's be practical here, because theory without practice is useless. Imagine you have a coworker who always solves everyone's problems, always covers shifts, always says yes. Great, right? But guess what? This person is probably the last to be promoted. Why? Because they've become predictable, too available. And decisions based on real human nature show us that people don't value what they already have guaranteed. Now take another scenario. You know someone who is incredible at what they do, but who is selective with their time, who doesn't answer all calls, who sometimes disappears for a few days. This person becomes almost a legend. Everyone wants their attention. Everyone wants a piece of their time. It's not manipulation. It's strategy. It's understanding that the appearance of virtue is sometimes worth more than constant virtue. When you learn to disappear strategically, people start to wonder, where's so-and-so? What are they doing? Are they okay? And boom, you've become interesting again. The thing is, most people do the exact opposite of what they should. They think that the more present they are, the more they give of themselves, the more available they are, the more they will be loved and respected. And then comes that classic lesson that sounds harsh, but is true. It's better to be feared than loved, but it's crucial to avoid being hated. This doesn't mean you need to become an absent jerk who ignores everyone. Far from it. It means you need to balance your presence like a chef balances the spices in a sophisticated dish. Too much salt spoils it, too little makes it bland. Balance is everything. Think about the calculated use of force. You don't use all your energy, all your availability, all your time with just anyone. You choose, you prioritize, you create scarcity. That friend who only shows up occasionally, when they do, it's a party. That professional who only accepts specific projects, when they accept, it's because they're worth their weight in gold. The central issue here isn't about playing childish games, but about understanding that virtù and fortuna, talent and opportunity, meet when you know the right time to appear and the right time to disappear. Have you ever noticed how we chase after those who don't want us, but ignore those who are right beside us, wanting our attention? It's bizarre, but it's true. And you know what's even crazier? The person you're chasing is probably doing exactly what I'm about to teach you. They've positioned themselves as the prize, and you fell for it like a sucker. Machiavelli wasn't stupid when he talked about politics guided by reality, not ideals. He knew that in the real world, the pursuer always loses power, and the pursued always wins. It's counterintuitive, I know, but think about the most desired brands in the world. Apple, Ferrari, Rolex. Do they make commercials begging you to buy them? No, man. They create incredible products, set very high standards, and make you feel that having them is a privilege. They don't chase after the customer chases after them. And look, that's not arrogance, it's pure strategy. When you stop chasing and start building real value within yourself, something magical happens. Doors start opening on their own, people start seeking you out, and opportunities begin to appear without you having to beg for them. Let's talk about concrete examples, because I know you're thinking, okay, but how do I do this in practice? Look, let's say you work in graphic design. The desperate designer sends messages to 50 companies offering their services, lowers their price, makes proposal after proposal, and accepts any crumb. This person is chasing after jobs, positioning themselves as inferior as someone who needs that job at any cost. Now take the designer who invests time creating a killer portfolio, who posts incredible work on social media, who demonstrates real expertise, who may even reject some projects because they don't align with their vision. This second person is applying the calculated use of force. They don't waste energy chasing any opportunity. They build value and let the right opportunities come to them. It's the difference between having your own loyal armies, clients who value you and come back, versus being a mercenary who takes any job that comes along. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people value what seems exclusive, difficult to obtain, and selective. But listen, there's an important detail here that many people confuse. This doesn't mean standing still, waiting for life to happen as if you were some prince in a tower. No, no, no. You need to be constantly building value, developing skills, creating results, becoming truly good at what you do. The appearance of virtue without real virtue is a ticking time bomb that will explode in your face sooner or later. What separates this from being an arrogant person who produces nothing is precisely the delivery of real value. Think of great CEOs, renowned artists, elite professionals in any field. They don't just send out resumes, they build such a solid reputation that headhunters come to them. It's not about being inaccessible for the sake of being inaccessible. It's about being so good, so valuable, so unique in what you offer, that you naturally become the prize. Constant adaptability requires you to read the environment and understand when to show your value and when to strategically retreat. And here comes that old truth. It's better to be feared than loved, in the sense of being respected for your competence, rather than being seen as a nice, available guy, but always remembering to avoid being hated. You want to be desired, not despised. Let's talk about a painful truth, but one you need to hear. If nobody notices you, you simply don't exist. You can have the best product, the best idea, the best talent in the world. If you're invisible, you're nothing. Is it cruel? Maybe. Is it true? Absolutely. Machiavelli perfectly understood that politics guided by reality, not by ideals, means accepting the world as it is, not as we would like it to be. And the reality is that we live in a time where millions of pieces of information compete for people's attention every second. If you're not being noticed, someone else is. And that someone is getting the opportunities, the contracts, the relationships, the success that could be yours. Attention isn't vanity. Attention is survival. It's power in its purest form. Think of the great names in history. They didn't just sit quietly in the corner waiting to be discovered. Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint masterpieces. He sold his ideas to the powerful. Steve Jobs didn't just create products. He gave theatrical presentations that mesmerized the world. They knew that the calculated use of force included the force of presence, of impact, of the mark they left on people's minds. Now, hold on a minute, because attracting attention doesn't mean being a noisy clown who annoys everyone. There's a huge difference between being strategic and being desperate. Take Elon Musk as an example. The guy is controversial, generates discussion, and is always in the spotlight. But notice that every move he makes, every crazy tweet, every bombastic statement is somehow connected to his business, his vision, his goals. That's the appearance of virtue being used masterfully. He may seem chaotic, but there's method in the madness. Now compare that to the guy who posts 15 stories a day, complaining about life, making a drama out of anything, being controversial just for the sake of it. That guy also attracts attention, but in the wrong way. The difference lies in the intention, the strategy, the ultimate goal. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people are attracted to those who are interesting, who bring something different, who break the mold. But they also run away from those who are annoying, desperate, and inconvenient. So the art here is about being noticed for the right reasons, creating a presence that adds value, that intrigues, that makes people want to know more about you. Let's be practical again. If you're an entrepreneur, it's no use having the best product if nobody knows you exist. You need to be where your audience is, speaking the language they understand, creating content that grabs attention. If you work in an office, it's no use being the best professional in the company if your boss doesn't even remember you exist. You need to learn to strategically showcase your results, speak at the right meetings, and be visible at the moments that matter. Constant adaptability requires you to read the environment and adjust your visibility strategy. In some contexts, you need to be bold and provocative. In others, you need to be subtle and elegant. But never, ever can you be invisible. Remember that it's better to be feared than loved. Here, that translates to, it's better to be noticed and create mixed reactions than to be ignored and create no reaction at all. Of course, always taking care to avoid being hated. You want to be memorable, controversial if necessary, but not detestable. The end justifies the means, but the means must be intelligent. Here's a truth that goes against everything you were taught in school. Nobody, absolutely nobody, does something for you just because you need it. It might hurt to hear this, but Machiavelli understood centuries ago that decisions based on real human nature reveal a clear pattern. People always act in their own self-interest. Even when they seem altruistic, there's something underneath. Social recognition, feeling good about themselves, avoiding guilt, strengthening relationships that might be useful later. I'm not saying people are bad, I'm saying they're human. And being human means having limited resources, time, energy, money, attention, and needing to choose where to invest those resources. So, when you come asking for a favor because you really need it, because the situation is difficult, because you deserve a chance, do you know what the other person hears? Problems, risk, someone who will drain resources without giving anything back. Is it cruel? No, it's politics guided by reality, not by ideals. And when you understand that, when you stop begging for mercy and start offering value, everything changes. Let me give you examples that will make this crystal clear in your mind. Imagine you want a job at a company. You could approach them like this. I really need this job. I've been unemployed for months. I have bills to pay. Please give me a chance. Or you could approach them like this. I've noticed you're having trouble increasing your digital presence. In the last 3 years, I've helped 4 companies in your sector triple their social media engagement. I can do the same for you and even bring methodologies that your competitors aren't using. Do you see the difference? In the first case, you're appealing to pity, to compassion, to the poor me mentality. In the second, you're showing exactly how hiring you benefits the company. It's the calculated use of force. You don't waste energy making emotional appeals that don't work. You direct all your communication to what really motivates people, their self-interest. This applies to getting clients, closing partnerships, asking for a raise, securing investments, anything. Always, always, always show what the other person gains. An appearance of virtue may help, but the real benefit is what seals the deal. And look, this doesn't make you a cold or calculating person in a bad way. In fact, it makes you someone who respects other people's intelligence and plays the game honestly. Do you know why it's better to be feared than loved in negotiations? Because respect based on delivered value is infinitely more solid than pity or temporary kindness. But be warned, you need to avoid being hated, and that means your offers need to be genuine, your benefits need to be real. If you promise the world and deliver nothing, you're not being strategic, you're being a scammer, and that will come back to bite you. Constant adaptability requires you to learn to read what each person values. For some, it's money. For others, it's status. For others, it's making life easier. For others, it's reducing risks. When you identify what motivates each person and position your proposal based on that, you stop being just another person asking for favors and become someone offering solutions. And those who offer solutions have their own loyal armies, people who come back because they know you deliver real value, not because they feel sorry for you. Want to know the secret of people who are never discarded? They've become essential, non-replaceable, not optional, essential. Machiavelli perfectly understood that true power doesn't come from titles, positions, or contracts. It comes from becoming indispensable. When people depend on you, when only you have that specific skill, that unique knowledge, that special contact, that rare ability, you control the dynamics of the relationship. And look, this isn't about dirty manipulation. It's about intelligent strategy based on decisions grounded in real human nature. People protect what they need. People value what they can't easily replace. If you're just another person doing what everyone else does, you're disposable. If you're the only one who solves that specific problem in that specific way, you're precious. The difference between being fired in the first crisis and being promoted in the same crisis lies precisely there. Are you dispensable or indispensable? That's the question that defines careers, relationships, businesses, everything. And the answer depends exclusively on you. Let's put this in practical terms, because theory without application is useless. Think of any office. There's that guy who knows how to do basic Excel reports, just like everyone else. That guy is replaceable in a week. Now there's that other guy who, in addition to mastering advanced Excel with complex macros, also understands data analysis, knows Python to automate processes, has direct contacts with the company's main suppliers, and on top of that is the only one who completely understands the legacy system that nobody else wants to touch, but is critical to the business. This second guy is untouchable. He created his own loyal armies, not in the military sense, but in the sense of having built a network of dependencies around him. When the company thinks about cutting costs, guess who stays? The calculated use of force here means strategically investing in skills that make you unique, in knowledge that others don't have, in relationships that only you have cultivated. It's not about being irreplaceable in everything. That's impossible. It's about being irreplaceable in what really matters to the context where you are. But there's a crucial detail that separates the intelligent strategist from the arrogant one who thinks they're important. You need to deliver real value, not just appear important. The appearance of virtue without real virtue is a house of cards that collapses quickly. Take, for example, IT professionals who become essential because they are the only ones who understand a certain system. Cool, right? But if that person uses that to slack off, to blackmail the company, to be difficult, they will become hated. And remember, it's better to be feared than loved, but it's fundamental to avoid being hated. The line is thin but clear. You want people to respect you and recognize your importance, not to hate you for taking them hostage. So you develop these unique skills, this specialized knowledge, these exclusive relationships, but you use all of that to deliver exceptional results, not to sabotage those who try to learn. Constant adaptability requires you to always keep learning, always adding new skills, because what makes you essential today may become obsolete tomorrow. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, means understanding that nothing is permanent and you need to constantly build new forms of legitimate dependence. You know that person who's always arguing, always trying to prove they're right, always getting into endless debates? Well, that person is rarely powerful, and it's no coincidence. Machiavelli understood that politics guided by reality, not ideals, means understanding a basic truth. Arguments don't convince anyone. They only expose your weaknesses and waste your energy. When you engage in an argument, you reveal your logic, your weak points, your emotions. You give ammunition to the other side. And even if you win the debate, what did you really gain? The other person leaves resentful, looking for loopholes to bring you down later, waiting for the moment to retaliate. Arguments create enemies, not allies. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people don't change their minds because you argued better. They change when they see concrete results that challenge their beliefs. You can talk 1,000 words about how good a swimmer you are, but when you jump into the pool and swim across in perfect style, the conversation is over. Action ends debate. Results shut people up. Real power doesn't need explaining. Let me show you how this works in practice, because that's where things get interesting. Imagine you work at a company and you have an innovative idea to increase sales. You can do it in 2 ways. First way, you schedule meetings, prepare huge presentations, engage in debates with skeptical colleagues, try to convince everyone with argument after argument, and spend weeks discussing theory. Second way, you take a small pilot project, test your idea in a controlled context, generate measurable results, and then present the numbers. While you were debating, I tested. I increased conversions by 34% in 3 weeks. Here are the data. End of discussion. It's the calculated use of force in action. You don't waste energy trying to convince, you invest energy in proving. Take another example, successful entrepreneurs. They don't stay in internet forums discussing the best way to do business. They open companies, test, adjust, and grow. While theorists debate, practitioners build empires. An appearance of virtue may make you seem intelligent in a debate, but real virtue demonstrated by results makes you irrefutable. And here's a curious fact. The more real power a person has, the less they argue. Think of great leaders, successful CEOs, brilliant strategists. They don't waste time on ego battles or endless debates. They simply execute, deliver, and win. Better to be feared than loved, in this context, means it's better to be respected for your results than to be seen as a good debater. Nobody fears someone who only knows how to talk eloquently. People fear, in the sense of deeply respecting, those who deliver consistent results that they cannot deny or ignore. But be careful. Avoiding being hated here means not using your results to humiliate others, not rubbing it in the faces of those who doubted you. You simply present the facts, let the work speak for itself, and move on. Constant adaptability requires you to know when it's not even worth explaining. Just execute and let the results do the convincing work. Because in the end, you can have your own loyal armies made up of people who believe in your work, or you can have a bunch of acquaintances who think you're a smooth talker but would never take you seriously about anything important. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people speak little while those without power never stop talking? It's not a coincidence. It's pure strategy. Every word that comes out of your mouth is a window into your mind, a clue to your plans, a revelation about your weaknesses. Machiavelli understood that politics guided by reality, not ideals, means recognizing that the more you talk, the more vulnerable you become. When you over-explain, over-justify, over-reveal, you relinquish control of the situation. People begin to read you like an open book, anticipate your moves, find loopholes in your logic, and use your own words against you. And the worst part, the more you talk, the less seriously people take you. It's paradoxical but true. Silence breeds respect. Chatter breeds contempt. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people fill in the empty spaces with their own interpretations, usually placing you on a higher pedestal than you deserve. So why destroy this favorable perception by talking too much? The calculated use of force includes knowing when to use the power of silence, which is often more powerful than 1,000 well-articulated words. Let's put this into real-world contexts, because you need to understand how to apply this without sounding like a silent robot. Think about a salary negotiation. You walk into your boss's office to ask for a raise. Most people start talking non-stop, explaining why they need it, listing all their bills, talking about their family situation, rambling on. Huge mistake. The strategist walks in, presents their results concisely, increased sales by 40%, reduced costs by 25%, brought in 3 big clients, states the number they want, and shuts up. Is the silence that follows uncomfortable? Yes. But you're not the one who needs to break that silence. Whoever speaks first after that usually loses. Another example, that guy at work who's always talking about the secret projects he's developing, the brilliant plans he has, the amazing strategies he's going to implement. 6 months later, where are the results? Nothing. He spent all his energy talking instead of doing. Now take that quiet professional that nobody really knows what they do, but suddenly they present a revolutionary project that's ready. Boom, impact. The appearance of virtue amplified by mystery is infinitely more powerful than virtue diluted by excessive exposure. And there's a crucial insight here that separates the wise from the simply arrogant. It's not about being as silent as a door. It's about strategic verbal economy. You speak when your words add value, when there's something truly important to say, when the moment demands it. But you cut out all the fat, all the excess, all the unnecessary information. Better to be feared than loved translates here to It's better to be seen as mysterious and profound than as talkative and superficial. People respect those who control their tongue because they know that every word of that person was chosen, weighed, measured. But remember, avoiding being hated means not using silence to be passive-aggressive or disrespectful. You don't ignore people, you just don't over-explain yourself. Constant adaptability requires you to read the environment. Sometimes a speech is necessary, but most of the time less is more. When you master this art, you create that air of your own invisible, loyal armies. People speculate about what you know, what you plan, what you are capable of. And this speculation, this curiosity, this mystery, all of this works in your favor without you having to lift a finger. Here's the mistake that trips up most people before they even begin. They tell everyone their plans, they share their dreams on social media, reveal their strategies in casual conversations, announce their next steps as if they were narrating a movie. And then they're surprised when someone copies the idea, when they encounter unexpected obstacles, when people start working against them. Machiavelli had a golden rule about this. Never reveal your true intentions. When people know what you want, where you want to go, how you plan to do it, they gain the power to block you. It's politics guided by reality, not by ideals. And the reality is that not everyone is rooting for your success. Some will actively work against you, others will unconsciously create obstacles, and still others will steal your ideas. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people are competitive, insecure, and often act out of envy or fear of being overtaken. So why give them the treasure map? Why hand over the complete script to your victory? The calculated use of force means planning in the dark, executing in the light. Keep your plans to yourself, only show the results. Let me give you examples that will make this crystal clear. Imagine you're planning a career change, leaving your current field and entering a completely different market. You could do this. Post on LinkedIn, I'm preparing to move into the tech field, studying programming. Tell your colleagues, announce it to your friends. The result? Your boss finds out and treats you like someone who's already on their way out, removing you from important projects. Your colleagues start to see you differently. Some are envious, others belittle you. People start giving unsolicited advice, discouraging you, planting doubts. Now the smart strategy. You study quietly, take courses discreetly, build projects in your free time, network silently, and only announce the change when you have the new position secured. Boom. Out of nowhere, you show up with a new job in tech, and everyone's like, wow, I didn't know you could program. The appearance of virtue might make you seem humble for not bragging, but the truth is, you were protecting your moves. Another example. Entrepreneurs who keep posting, I'm going to launch a revolutionary app. I'm creating a startup that will change the market. Do you know what happens? Bigger competitors grab the idea and execute it with more resources before the person even finishes. Constant adaptability means knowing when to show and when to hide. And look, there's a crucial subtlety here. It's not about actively lying or deceiving people. It's about not revealing more than necessary. It's about being strategically vague when asked about your plans. It's about directing attention to one thing while you execute another. Better to be feared than loved. In this context, means it's better for people to underestimate you and then be surprised than to overestimate you and block you prematurely. But be careful, avoiding being hated means you don't use this strategy to harm innocent people or to be treacherous without reason. You simply protect your interests by keeping your cards close to your chest. Think of great business strategists like Steve Jobs. He kept Apple's products in absolute secrecy until their launch. Extremely stringent confidentiality agreements, leaks dealt with severely. Why? Because he knew that having his own loyal armies also meant having proprietary information that, if leaked, would lose all its impact. The end justifies the means when the means are ethical but strategic. You don't reveal the complete plan, not because you're dishonest, but because virtù and fortuna, skill and opportunity, only meet when you can execute without interference. Remain unpredictable, let people speculate, and only show your cards when it's too late for someone to stop you. So, did you really think you'd get this far and remain the same person? Look, I just gave you 7 tactics that most people will die without ever knowing. 7 principles that separate those who control their own lives from those who live being controlled. The question now isn't whether this knowledge works. Machiavelli proved it centuries ago. Great leaders apply it every day, and you just saw how politics guided by reality, not ideals, completely transforms the game. The question is, are you going to apply it, or are you going to let this become just another video you watched and forgot? Because you know what's funny? In 6 months, you'll look back and you'll be in one of 2 places. Either you'll be reaping the rewards of becoming strategic, essential, visible, powerful, or you'll continue complaining that life is unfair, while others, who may have less talent than you but more strategic intelligence, will be 10 steps ahead. Which will it be? Will you create value through absence, or will you continue being that desperately available person? Will you make others come to you, or will you continue chasing after them like a puppy? Will you strategically grab attention or remain invisible? Then answer me in the comments. Which of these 7 laws will you start applying today? Which one impacted you the most? And which one do you think is most lacking in your life right now? I want to know. Comment below, because this isn't just a video, it's the beginning of your transformation. And if you've made it this far, if you've absorbed this knowledge, you're already different from most. Now there's only one thing left. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, because I'm going to continue bringing you this kind of content that nobody else dares to talk about. Real knowledge, no beating around the bush, no frills, straight to the point. The power game doesn't stop, and you need to always be one step ahead. See you in the next video, strategist.